Here's a hot take for you. I think Bennett Stirtz is going to be the next Austin Reeves. 3 years ago, he was a standout freshman guard for Division II Northwest Missouri State. This season, he led Iowa to an Elite Eight run, knocking off Nebraska and championship favorite Florida in the process. And in the upcoming NBA draft, it's very likely that he will hear his name called in the first round. And I think even that is undervaluing him as a prospect. People worry about his lack of wiggle off the dribble and how his underwhelming athleticism might limit his scoring ability in the league. But those are the same concerns scouts had about Reeves, Steph Curry, and Steve Nash. When are they going to learn that shooting, playmaking ability, and overall feel for the game matter far more than any physical tools? Stirtz has something in common with basically every other elite guard nowadays. The foundation of his game is his elite shooting ability, which hinges on his deep range, lightning fast release, and mastery of off-the-bounce threes. He's comfortable shooting from well beyond the three-point line, both off the catch and off the dribble. And a couple feet may seem inconsequential, but in reality, it's the main reason he is so dangerous. At higher levels, defenders are too athletic. If you're hugging the line, it's way too easy to take your shot away. But when you can shoot from deep, now you're getting shots other players simply don't have access to. And it doesn't stop there, because when defenders know you can shoot from that far out, they have to press up, which is when the game really gets easy. Now it's blow by after blow by. The second factor is his release. Stirtz gets his shot off lightning fast. And a big reason why? It's one motion, no hitch, no pause. Very similar to Steph and Curry. Neither of them rely on crazy elevation. They both barely leave the ground. All their power comes from rhythm and flow, and that's what allows them to shoot from deep consistently. Then there's the most dangerous part of his game, his pull-up three. Off the dribble, in rhythm, no hesitation. I've said this before, if you're a guard trying to play at a high level, you have to be able to punish defenders for going under screens, and Stirtz is proof of that. There's no one perfect shooting form, but if you're looking for someone to study, you should start here, because this is what shooting that translates to the highest levels actually looks like. Stirtz can get into the paint almost at will, but he does it in a different way than most elite guards do. He's not a Darius Acuff Jr. or Tahad Pettiford who constantly breaks guys down with size-ups and dribble combos. In fact, Stirtz keeps it almost stupidly simple. Most of the time he's getting to the rim with straight-line drives and no need for counters. And how's he doing that? His favorite way to attack is through something called a get action. This is when you pass to a teammate and immediately chase it into a handoff. It's simple and incredibly effective. Personally, I think it's the most underrated and most underutilized action in basketball, and every player should be using it, because it serves the same purpose as a ball screen without the risk of turning it over off the dribble. If you struggle beating your defender off the dribble or setting them up for a screen, the get does the work for you, and if you're a shooter, then this action is your best friend. It's basically a mini flare screen where the defense has to give something up. If they go under, you stop behind and shoot. They chase over, now you're downhill with a defender on your back. It's a win every single time. And this is why it's perfect for a player like Stirtz. He's usually being guarded by the other team's best perimeter defender. So instead of over dribbling, risking a turnover, he creates his advantages without the ball. No risk of getting stripped and no wasted movement. Just efficient basketball. That's the real takeaway here. You don't need a crazy handle to be effective. If you understand how to create advantages as easily as Stirtz does, the game really begins to open up for you. The last thing I want to talk about with Bennett Stirtz is something I didn't even notice until I sat down and watched a bunch of his film in a row. He does not finish with his left hand, like almost ever. Even on the left side of the rim, where most players are taught to go offhand, he always finds a way to get back to his right. And now I finally have evidence of what I've longed to believe to be true, ever since LeBron hit a right-hand fadeaway runner on the left side to beat the Raptors in the 2018 playoffs, that using your offhand to finish at the rim is an overrated ability. At higher levels, finishing isn't just about being able to check a box and showing you can finish with both hands. It's about getting the best possible shot. And the reality is, there are very few situations where you have to use your weak hand. If your footwork is solid and your angles are good and you know how to shield the defender, you can get back to your strong hand way more often than people think. And if you're elite with your dominant hand, that's almost always the better option. Better touch, more control, a higher percentage. And that's exactly what Stirtz does. He doesn't force balance for the sake of balance. He plays to his strength. Every time he gets in the paint, he's thinking, how do I get this back to my right hand? And because he's so comfortable with it, he can finish through contact, around length, and at different angles, without needing to switch hands. Now don't misunderstand what I'm saying. You should still work on your offhand, because there will be moments where you need it. But the lesson here is this: don't just aim to be decent with both hands. Aim to be elite with one of them, because at the next level, elite strengths matter more than average versatility. and truly mastering your dominant hand is enough to take you to that next level.